Welcome to At Issue. Thank you for taking time out of your holiday weekend to join us, and we're going to be discussing a little bit about volunteerism. My name is H. Wayne Wilson, and I do a lot of volunteering, but what we want to talk about is young people volunteering, what young people do to volunteer, and how they might encourage others to volunteer. So with that, let me introduce 4 young people who do an immense amount of volunteering. And let me start with Ryan Hale. Ryan is a sophomore at Morton High School. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll go across the table from him and introduce you to Ashleigh Feger. Ashleigh is a sophomore at Eureka College, but she calls Downs, Illinois home. You went to Tri-Valley High School, is that right? Okay. And seated to my right, your left, would be Andy Menssen. We're referring to him as Andrew, but I've got to get used to this Andy. He wants to be informal. So Andy, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
He is with Heartland Community College. And then lastly, we have Rob Hills. Rob is an attorney in Peoria, and he is involved with Generation United. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Generation United is what we're going to talk about later on. We're going to talk about a group called Yucky with Ryan, acronym. We'll explain all that later. And then we're going to talk a little bit about building leaders of tomorrow.
Yes.
At over in McLean County, and a little bit about APO, Alpha Phi Omega, so, and a lot more. But let's start with, and just join in. What kind of volunteerism do you do? What range are we talking about?
Okay, well, Generation United really focuses on emerging leaders within the community, and our goal is to bring to the organization folks between the ages of 23 and 45. And what Generation United is it's a branch of the Heart of Illinois United Way. We're a committee, and we have 4 different arms, which I imagine we'll talk more about, and offer services such as volunteerism, leadership opportunities, and social networking events.
What kind of volunteerism are we talking about?
Okay, most of our volunteerism is within the SERVE subcommittee, and what we do is really focus on the Heart of Illinois United Way agencies locally. And these things range from, soup kitchens. Our big fundraiser every year is the Mad Dash. It's a citywide fundraiser. Last year, we're proud to say we raised $35,000 and had over 300 volunteers, and all that money goes into United Way's Community Impact Fund to be distributed within the Heart of Illinois.
There's another United Way group. It's called Yucky. Explain Yucky to us, Ryan.
Well, Yucky stands for Youth United for Central Illinois. And what that is it takes all the high schools and a couple students from Bradley. It takes about 2 or 3 from each one. And we come together as a big committee, and what we do is we tour all different agencies that are sponsored by the United Way. And at the end of the year, the United Way gives us $20,000, and we get to allocate that money to the agencies that we choose. They give us a list. Agencies apply to be in it, actually, and we get to allocate that $20,000 how we see fit.
We've been talking about organizations so far. Let's talk a little bit about what you, and Ashleigh has a laundry list, believe me, of the, I swear you don't go to class.
Oh, I do, every day.
Okay. What are some of the volunteerism projects for you?
One of the main organizations I'm involved in on campus is Alpha Phi Omega. Outside of that, I also do stuff for Relay for Life, Festival of Trees, and Moving to Normal, and other stuff like that.
Relay for Life, what's that?
It's the
for those that don't know.
It's the organization that raises money for cancer to find new treatments and help discover a cure for cancer.
Basically, a walk.
Yes,
yeah.
It's the walk.
And some of the other things
that we do
that you're doing.
Oh, that I'm doing. I help with raising money for St. Jude. We do local service projects that just help out our community and stuff like that.
So how do you raise money for St. Jude?
St. Jude, we do, it's for EC Cares, and we do a letter sending program.
EC, Eureka College?
Yes, EC, Eureka College. And we send letters and asking people to donate and help raise money for St. Jude. We do a finale, which is where we bring a bunch of little kids in, and we have blow-up houses and stuff, and we collect money, and just, it's it used to be called Up Till Dawn because you would stay up till dawn, raising money for the organization and stuff like that.
Let's turn to Andy. You're a student over at Heartland Community College.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the Building Leaders of Tomorrow yet, but what are some of the things you're involved in?
Well, what started off for me, Marvin Rosh, who is the director of the Student Engagement Office over at Heartland, had sent out a mass email last year following the Superstorm Sandy that happened on the East Coast, really looking for students to volunteer their spring break time to give back to the community that was just leveled. And something about that kind of piqued my interest. And so I went forward with it to go to the program. And it really just opened my eyes that not only was I doing something as a resume builder, but I got so much more out of it in the sense that I felt good coming home from that trip. And that really is what kind of snowball effect into all the things that I'm doing now.
Have any of you found a similar situation where one incident or you experienced something that actually got you started into volunteerism?
Absolutely. For me, it was encouraged from a young age, but I'm a proud graduate of the Peoria Notre Dame High School, and when I was there, they encouraged us to volunteer. And a lot of times, when I was in high school, everybody kind of grumbles about it. So what we did was, all of us buddies would team up and go to the same place, and you start to see over time that you really do impact people and how much it means to the folks that really need whatever service that you're providing, and it sticks with you. And I completely agree with you. There's so much more that comes back to you when you volunteer and give back.
And you had a role model in your life for volunteerism.
Yeah, it was definitely my dad. He was the president of TCRC, and I was around a lot of people that needed help, and it kind of got impressed on me at an early age that it's good to help other people, definitely, and it was, just.
And was there a moment in your life, or did your mom set the stage for this, or?
When I was in kindergarten, my mom put me in Girl Scouts, which Girl Scouts are known for being a organization that benefits the community and stuff like that. So ever since I joined that, I've always been very involved with community and service projects.
So it seems that in each case here, there was something that spurred you to step forward and say, I can help. What is it about other young people that they don't step forward? And how might you encourage them?
Maybe, and I can relate this to my own story and how I felt when I was in high school, and you kind of get that nudge to do it. And sometimes I felt this way, and maybe many other young people do, is it's kind of a job. It's something that you have to do. It's something the adults want you to do. But if you open up to it and you go and you do that, it really it's such a feel-good thing, and you know that you've really helped somebody that may never be able to help you back. It's a really good feeling. And what Generation United does is we try to encourage young people and be that bridge between maybe not volunteering and starting to volunteer. Because at the end of the day, our organization, along with everyone else here, is the next generation of community leaders and philanthropists. And we seek to build on that and help it get started.
Let's talk a little bit about your organization. You're president of Building Leaders of Tomorrow.
Yeah, correct. I started Building Leaders of Tomorrow in hopes that it would be a means for students on a campus to really have an opportunity for their creative ideas to come alive. And when I say that, I mean it doesn't matter if you're starting a business, a product you want to make, a fundraiser you want to start. It really gives students the tools and resources necessary to make those ideas jump off the paper. And since our inception, we have had a huge number of people involved. We've got programs started to help out with human trafficking that's going on here in the U.S. as far as overseas. We've got somebody else doing a program to throw birthday parties for kids that are suffering with cancer. And it's just really great to see that there's all these creative ideas floating around, and now there's a place for younger people to really feel like their ideas are wanted and needed.
And you started this?
I did, yes.
How long ago?
It started this semester. We actually just held our first meeting past Monday, and we have had one of the more successful turnouts of a club on campus.
And that's, I knew it was relatively new, and how difficult is it to say, you need to come and join us? How do you get them to join?
Really, you kind of have to let them know that not only are they helping themselves by joining the club, but you can be successful and start your career now rather than going through college and then searching for a career. It's a useful tool to let students know that your career starts as soon as you want it to. So not only are they moving forward and finding out what it is that makes them happy and what they want to do in life, but they're also benefiting somebody else. And there's nothing more satisfactory than to help somebody else while you're also helping yourself.
Ashleigh has, there's a little quote from her that says, "I'm happy when I know others have benefited." That pretty much sums up what volunteerism is, but you are happy when you do that.
Yeah, because to me it's like, I have so much and like I'm happy, but if somebody else needs help or just needs something to make their day better, and if I can help them with it, it just makes me feel great about myself, knowing that I can make them happy too.
I want to go back to your family situation, Ryan. You know, your dad kind of set the tone for the whole family. I assume the whole family is involved in volunteerism. And I know that even I know your dad, he's retired, but he can't help himself but to help others. And do you sit at the dinner table, or is there discussion about this? How does that work?
Well, yeah, we kind of sit around the dinner table, and he's always, I remember when he was at TCRC, he would always like talk about things like how people are doing at his agency, and how fortunate we were that we weren't in some of those situations. And yeah, and my mom is also a special ed teacher in Peoria, and I kind of saw them. And I remember even like when I was around third grade or so, she teaches like first graders, I would go and kind of read to them, and I always kind of liked it because they saw that another kid, like who was about the same age as them, was doing that good at reading, and it kind of inspired them to want to do a little bit, to learn to read a little better and want to read. So.
Ryan has made reference to TCRC a couple of times. It is called TCRC, but some of you may remember it as being Tazewell County Resource Center, located over in Tremont, I believe.
Yes.
We were talking about, role model that set the tone for you, and a spring break that really made the difference in your life, etc. But we just had a tragic episode with multiple tornadoes coming through central Illinois. In the short period of time since that has happened, have you had any exposure to anybody saying, I need to help out, and it's changed their attitude about volunteering?
Mm-hmm. Overwhelmingly, yes. From a lot of places. I've been following this, of course, on the news and through social media, and as I mentioned, I live in Washington, and fortunately still live in Washington. And for me, it's up close and personal. And there are people coming from everywhere in central Illinois, in fact, everywhere in the nation, of all walks of life, that are saying, what can I do? Can I give food? Can I give clothes? Maybe someone can stay on a rental property I have. And it's incredible. And if you go to Washington and see the level of devastation there, it brings something out in you. You see the folks there, and you need to be a part of it.
Who else has seen Washington?
Well, I haven't seen it. But my chemistry teacher actually lost his house in the tornado, and it's kind of been a motivator because people in my class and that stuff have been asking like, how can I help him out, and how can I maybe give money or something, because our school has Morton High School has started a fund where you can like give like gift cards to like Walmart and Target and that stuff, where they can get like supplies, and it just, I mean, it's not, obviously it's not good this happened, but it could start as a way of getting people involved in volunteering and stuff like that.
We know that a lot of people have come from far away. We know that, for instance, a cook from Louisiana came up and brought all his cooking equipment, these great big cauldrons, I guess you would call them, and making Southern cooking for all the workers who are working over there, the volunteer workers that are working over there. Do you think it's infectious that people see that and then they say, well, if so-and-so can drive from Louisiana, maybe I could do something here?
Oh, I definitely think so, because if somebody's willing to take that much time out of their day, what's to say you can't take an hour when you don't live that far away and it's easy access for you to get there and help people who are close to you? Because like me going to Eureka College, there's a lot of students on my campus who were affected by it. There's a lot of teachers that don't have houses, students that don't have apartments anymore. And we're all going to Washington and helping them out, and we're donating, collecting stuff. And we're local, so we know the people. And to have people who don't know these people and still come and help, I think it just shows that humanity is good still, and that we're able to benefit others even though we don't even know them.
Your take on humanity, and not just in a dire situation such as Washington Peak and East Peoria and the other communities that were hit. What's your take on humanity in general?
In general, actually, it kind of does apply to what recently just happened. We've seen such an outcry for the needed materials for what happened. And so what the Building Leaders of Tomorrow organization is doing is we're kind of looking behind the scenes, like, what besides the tangible assets are people needing, which is moral support. And so we're looking forward at coming up with some ways to really give that to them by the means of providing families free portraits that maybe they lost in the wreckage, the hot meals to the workers. That's something else we're doing. We're going to give away free bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwiches, because that's the acronym for the organization. But I really think that when people are in the time of need, it's really all about giving them the support that you can't see in the means of an item.
BLTs.
BLTs,
I like it.
yeah.
Building Leaders of Tomorrow. So let's spend our remaining time talking about, and for those of you out there, maybe you could take some tips and do the same thing, but let's go around the table and talk about if you have an opportunity, how do you encourage young people? Because we know the image. The image is that many young people I'll get to it later. I'm too busy building my career, I'm too busy, buying a house or whatever it is. What do you say to young people?
Well, I think a way to get people involved is to kind of do something that brings them together, that they can connect with. Like, for example, one of my close friends, his sister has a juvenile arthritis, and what me and my friends do every year is they have the Jingle Bell Run down on the riverfront, and we always run in that every year, and it's a good way to get people involved.
I walked in it one year. And it's amazing. It's held in early December, and it's amazing. All these runners, they dress up and have jingle bells on their shoelaces, and it's all for a good cause. What do you say to people?
I think Andy really got onto something here with the moral support. But what GenU does is we offer something for everyone. And if you want to be there to provide moral support, or if you want to provide food or clothing, or if you want to get involved in a leadership opportunity, the organization really has something for everybody. But my personal philosophy and why I volunteer is I treat people as I would want to be treated. And if I were a storm victim, I would need desperately help. If I were homeless, I would desperately need shelter. And those people could at any moment in our lives be us immediately. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to give back to people who need it, and keeping that in mind.
Recruiting young people. I know Building Leaders of Tomorrow is doing a good job in its early stages. But what do you hear back from these people those that are reticent?
I think all too often what I'm finding is that students, particularly in our age range, kind of feel like they don't know how to go about finding their future. And so I'm a huge advocate for the fact that your career really starts the day you decide it starts. And so I let them know, hey, come to the club, bring up your ideas, and we'll find a way to expand on it. We'll find a way to give you a channel. And that's something that really brings me joy, is just to know that, life starts now.
APO, you're starting a chapter of APO
Yes.
on the Eureka College campus. That's Alpha Phi Omega. It's a service fraternity. Do you run into that hesitation from other students when they say, what are you talking about? I got to study for a chemistry exam.
Yeah, my position, I'm on exec board, I'm VP of membership, which basically means it's my job to recruit people and most importantly retain people to keep them coming back and stuff. And when people say I'm too busy and stuff, I think one of the main things they have this idea of when they hear Greek, they don't think of it as being like service oriented and stuff. They just think of it as social and all the stereotypes that it has. But we're not only based on service, we're also based on leadership and friendship, which is basically a group of people coming together just to do good for their community. They're being leaders in their community, and they're doing things for other people while still bonding with each other. And I think that's just a really good thing when you're able to bring other people together.
Ryan, you're the youngest one here, and I'm going to take a guess, recalling my high school days from a few decades ago, that high schoolers might be a tough sell to say, you know what, let's go help so-and-so, or let's do this volunteer project. What do you say to them?
Yeah, well, I say that I know people think they have like study for a test or have to go like play sports, but there's time to do everything. I mean, there's ways to get involved, any like key club or in our schools interact. There's different ways, and you know, if you even do something small, like I like to say, it's a force multiplier. If you do something small, it turns into something even bigger and bigger until it turns out it can really impact somebody's life, even if you do something small.
You're shaking your head, yes.
Absolutely. We all live in the same community, you know, and we should help each other. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to do that. And I agree. And, you know, the message high school was not that long ago for me. And it took a little bit of nudging to get me to get involved in volunteerism. But what I've seen and what I've felt from doing it is beyond words. And I think if everybody could just commit to doing one volunteer project, maybe with an organization that they, you know, have the same beliefs as or something, just to kind of get their feet wet and see that it really is a rewarding experience. So I agree with that, and that is, in my opinion, the way to do it.
So it starts step by step.
It does, absolutely. To kind of touch on what Rob was talking about, if anybody can just get involved in any way possible, that's going to be huge for them and possibly the surrounding community. And that's what we really strive to do. So I implore people that if they have these ideas, even if they're crazy, of how they can benefit themselves and how they can help out communities, just to bring it to the club. We've opened it up to buildingleadersoftomorrow.com so that people can come in and just share their ideas, bring it to us, we'll brainstorm and expand on it and see it through implementation.
You mentioned the websites, or a website for either Yucky or GenU?
Yes. For GenU, you'll go to the Heart of Illinois United Way website, which is www.hoiunitedway.org, and then you can click on Get Involved, and GenU pops up, as well as other ways to get involved, as well as the Tornado Relief Fund that United Way has recently started.
And Yucky, same?
I'm not sure if there's a website actually.
But I'm sure that we can get it through hoiunitedway.org.
Yes, I'm sure you can.
Okay. We've got 3 students here, and we've got 1 professional. When you look back and look at how you got involved, in incrementally, basically speaking, but also was it a step toward making contacts for maybe a future job, getting experience that you might not have gotten by being in class?
Those things have all been actually perks. That's not how I saw it when I started. For me, it was more of a step of maturity. You know, when I finished law school, I came back to Peoria. This is my hometown, and I thought, okay, I'm an adult now. I'm a working professional, and it's time to act like one, really, and to go out and help people and take a vested interest in the community. And from that, I have gotten professional contacts, and I've built some wonderful relationships with people all around town, and I think given some good work back to the community that you know, eventually or inevitably supports me, because we're all here in the community and we all support each other. So,
same philosophy as you look to your future career?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been a huge advocate of the power of networking. I think a resume is a great thing, but that invisible web in your mind of the people that you just randomly meet along the lines that are undelayed, especially through volunteering, you never know when you're helping somebody out who you're going to meet that someday can pull a string for you or that you're going to need in a situation, and that's a very powerful thing for a person to have.
And with that, we're going to encourage you to reach out to your friends and neighbors and say, you know what, let's get together and possibly volunteer. And we want to thank all our volunteers here at the table this evening. Thank you to Ryan Hale, who is a sophomore at Morton High School, and to Andy Menssen, who is at Heartland Community College.
Thank you.
And across from them, thank you to Rob Hills, who is with Generation United and an attorney in town, and to Ashleigh Feger, who is a sophomore at Eureka College. Thank you to all four of you for your volunteerism.
And thank you.
Continue to
Thanks for
encourage
having us.
others. And next time, we're going to be 2 weeks from tonight. We're taking next week off, and we're going to see Ray LaHood, the former congressman and former Secretary of Transportation. He's going to look back at his career, and he's also going to take a close look at gridlock in Washington, D.C. He has some opinions about it, so join us for a discussion with Ray LaHood in 2 weeks right here on At Issue.